We started doing sub-advisory in 1999 when we first formed GSAM Retail Distribution in Europe. It was the first thing we did. It was where we started. The last 12 months, obviously 17 years later, the change in regulation, the constant demand to give clients value for money in terms of product that is beyond their particular expertise, has created a sort of a shot in the arm for the growth of sub-advisory post MiFID II. I would say sub-advisory within MiFID II has broadened the number of people that want to do asset management for various different reasons. So in the past, sub-advisory has primarily been us talking to a manufacturer, an asset manager, who wants to do product range completion, as in there are asset classes where they don't have the expertise that they would like to add. Or it's been they've got asset classes where they have had poor performance and they want to replace their management team but retain their own product and just outsource the management of that product. What's happened post MiFID II is a new element has come into the market where organisations have taken a very long, hard look at their own business model on the back of this regulation that's been coming through to say, should we be doing things differently? Should we be doing something else? And the perfect example of that is on the distribution side, where if you are an organisation which is primarily driven by distribution and you're selling other people's mutual funds, you've thought about the value for money process, you've thought about the transparency that's coming through, and you also want to provide your clients with open architecture. So what's happened is, rather than have a mutual fund, either charge an advisor fee or take a retrocession, they've said, why don't we have our own mutual fund? Why don't we have our own mutual fund, and then we will outsource the management of that to somebody who is an expert in that particular asset class. So rather than use their fund, we'll have our own fund managed by them, and we can then control the economics to the point where we can make sure that whether we take a rebate or we charge an advisor fee, we can become part of the economics of the mutual fund itself, as well as the advice fee or retrocession, potentially even a platform, and we can make sure that the end client gets value in the product, as in the end client service price might come down. When we outsource with different clients, whether we put our brand on their marketing material is entirely their choice. So we can be somewhere deep in the prospectus as a manager of the product, or we can help them educate their clients, educate their sales force, and become part of the promotion of that product. So we can either form a real partnership and be completely linked together in terms of making the promotion of that product and the articulation of the product and the purpose of that product, or we can be deep in the prospectus and no one needs to know. It really depends on the business model of the particular organisation that's doing the outsourcing. If they want their product to be front and centre with our brand hidden, but we're doing the portfolio management and delivering the returns, that's absolutely fine. If they want us to be front and centre of the promotion of the product, that's also absolutely fine. Doing sub-advisory business, it's a hybrid between mutual fund distribution and institutional separate account mandates. So from our perspective, we are managing somebody else's mutual fund, which is so it's a separate account for us, but all the resources and the support requirements are more akin to retail distribution. So from our perspective, we've got the expertise at both ends. So we can help an organisation from a marketing perspective. We can help an organisation from a training of the sales force perspective. We can help an organisation where making sense of markets and bringing it together to think about how does that particular product fit into what clients may need at that time. So all of those things are critical in helping somebody make the most of a mutual fund effectively that they've outsourced the management of. So the way we think about it is we want our outsourced partners, our sub-advisory partners, to imagine that they've never outsourced at all and we're the in-house manager. So that's how we think about it. So having the expertise of mutual fund distribution and the separate accounts, that's the functional part. How we treat our clients from a partnership perspective is going to be bespoke to their requirements in all of those different areas that I just went through. The end client, the investor, they care about performance. They care about getting the return that they expect. They also care about the fact that it's done in the right way. So the way it would work is that whoever's doing the outsourcing to us, our compliance team and legal team work with their compliance and legal team. They will have certain requirements and processes and expectations about how we behave, and vice versa. We will have expectations about how they will behave and how their distributors behave. So from our perspective, it's about the collaboration. It's the unseen bit of the partnership. A partnership is something which is something that adds value to both sides. We have to understand what they're doing, and we have to understand what they need, and they have to understand what we're doing and what we need. So the compliance and the legal procedures are linked together to be in line with and compliant. The bit which is the asset management delivering the performance is sort of, without that we're not going to get hired, so we don't have to have the conversation with our compliance and their compliance. So we deliver that, but it's a separate team. They have to be linked together.